I like DB because like DB was one of my vets when I was in Phoenix, and then we gathered here into Indiana, and like it was kind of a surprise that she was signed to Indiana anyway, and so we'll take her in a heartbeat. Like she's a Hall of Famer, she's a hell of a basketball player, can score from anywhere on the court.
What if I told you that one WNBA player, without ever leading the league in scoring or holding an MVP trophy, might be quietly dismantling the old sports media system and replacing it with something entirely different? Her name is Sophie Cunningham, and while her stats on the court might not always dominate headlines, her influence off the court is rewriting the rules. In a league that spent decades carefully controlling narratives, Sophie's unapologetic voice, her unfiltered podcast moments, and her massive social media reach are shaking the foundation. The traditionalists don't know how to handle it, and some are downright panicking. But this isn't just about Sophie. This is about a bigger fight that's been brewing in women's sports for years. A fight between the old media machine and the athletes who are learning they don't need it anymore. And what's happening in the WNBA right now might be the blueprint for every other pro sport.
I just think, and you know way better than me,
Yeah.
but like, it just feels like people are jealous of this new little wave of.
They are, but I just hate that because like this is what we've always wanted as a league. So like, who cares who gets the credit? And if you're smart, you're making money off of them.
Yeah.
Like you are literally making money from the viewership.
And why bully the person who is like not 100% responsible, but like has a huge role in growing your sport?
Dude, and it literally like pisses me off when people are like, she's not the face of the league.
Who would be?
What?
To understand why Sophie's rise is so disruptive, you first have to understand what the WNBA's media landscape looked like before her. For decades, coverage of the league has been safe, sanitized. A handful of players, usually the biggest stars or the most brand-friendly personalities, would get the majority of airtime. Interviews were polished, conflicts smoothed over, and controversial topics often ignored entirely. It wasn't just about protecting the league's image. It was about control. Access to players often ran through team PR departments. If a journalist wanted an interview, they had to play by the league's rules. That meant avoiding certain questions, steering away from heated topics, and always keeping the focus on growing the game. And for a long time, players had no choice. Without those interviews, without ESPN highlights, their names didn't get out there. Their endorsements suffered. Their stories disappeared. That was the old reality. But then social media and a new generation of players started changing the game.
I went from I think like
followers, yeah,
350,000 and like maybe 200,000 on TikTok.
You had 200,000 on TikTok a month ago?
No, I
before the fight.
Before the fight, and then I had like 350 on 100,000 on Instagram over the night or over like a day and a half, over 1 million on both. Insane. This is coming from me though, dude. I got tired of seeing myself.
I get it.
And I love myself.
I get it.
I love myself. I was over it.
When Sophie Cunningham entered the league in 2019 with the Phoenix Mercury, she already had a reputation, a fiery competitor at Missouri, someone who wasn't afraid to chirp opponents, someone who'd clap back at fans online. But here's the key. She didn't just rely on game performances to build her audience. While many players treated social media like a secondary thought, Sophie treated it like a second career. TikTok, Instagram, podcast appearances, she showed up everywhere. And she wasn't just posting training videos or game highlights, she was sharing personality, opinions, unfiltered takes, behind-the-scenes glimpses of WNBA life that fans never got through official channels. By 2024, Sophie had quietly built a following bigger than many WNBA reporters, and even some teams. We're talking 1.6 million on TikTok and over 1 million on Instagram. The league noticed, the media noticed, and some didn't like it. Because here was a player who didn't need them to reach fans anymore.
Question, if someone were to say someone called men's basketball their whole life and then went over to women's, would they be expected to call the game differently? Just given the style and physicality and stuff like that?
If you follow WNBA news, you probably heard about the now infamous podcast episode. Sophie was on a show, speaking casually, when the topic of officiating came up. She didn't hold back. She compared male and female referees, questioned emotional reactions, and named Diana Taurasi as someone who could mother refs into letting things slide. For old-school WNBA media, this was shocking. Not because her opinion was uniquely harsh, plenty of players gripe about refs, but because she said it publicly, with no filter, on a platform she controlled. No PR rep was there to cut the comment off. No reporter could twist it with selective quotes. Fans heard Sophie's words exactly as she said them. And the reaction? Explosive. Clips spread across Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Some praised her honesty, others accused her of crossing a line, but everyone was talking about it. And Sophie's name was everywhere.
But she got to Indiana and she just like really wasn't happy. And like I want people to be happy. So that's why I'm kind of like neutral on this one, which a lot of people are surprised about. She's towards the end of her career, so like she deserves her flowers. She deserves to be happy. But I also think that if you're gonna leave, like you're gonna have to expect getting booed.
On the surface, this might just look like another athlete making headlines. But for the WNBA's media gatekeepers, it was a warning sign. For years, they've controlled the narrative by controlling the microphone. Want to share your side of a story? Go through the press? Want to respond to criticism? Wait for an approved interview. But now, Sophie can post a TikTok to over 1 million followers instantly. She can go on a podcast that pulls in hundreds of thousands of views. She can bypass every old channel and still reach more people than an ESPN segment would. That's terrifying for people whose jobs depend on being the middleman. Rumors suggest that some outlets are already trying to figure out how to either partner with Sophie or sideline her influence. And the league? Well, they're watching closely. Because if more players follow Sophie's lead, the balance of power shifts completely.
Like I'm still rooting for her. Like I want her to end her career and be happy. But I also think that like it's okay to be professional about it and like send a text to your teammates. Send a text and be like, hey, like, love you guys. Or you don't even have to say love you guys. Just like, hey, sorry this didn't work out. Good luck. Da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like there's a way to handle that.
One of the more telling moments in this whole saga came when critics said Sophie wasn't the face of the league. It's an argument as old as sports itself. Who deserves to be the main star? Should it be the MVP? The most marketable player? The one with the cleanest image? But here's the thing. Sophie never needed to be officially crowned the face of the WNBA. She made herself a face of the league by building her own audience, by speaking directly to fans. Reports claim that some veteran players feel overshadowed, that they've put in years of work without getting the same spotlight Sophie has earned in just a few seasons. But as Sophie's defenders point out, this is what the league has always wanted. More attention, more eyes on women's basketball. If you're smart, you make money off the wave, not fight it. Here's where the story gets even bigger. What Sophie is doing in the WNBA could happen in any pro sport. The formula is simple. Build a personal platform independent of the league. Share authentic, behind-the-scenes content. Lean into personality and controversy. Fans will always trust a player who was in the locker room over a polished article from someone who wasn't there. And sponsors? They're noticing. Partnering directly with athletes means no league approval process and no watered-down messaging. It's the influencer model, but with pro athletes. And if it works for Sophie, it could work for everyone from NFL rookies to Olympic gymnasts. So, what happens next? Some outlets will adapt. They'll give players more freedom to speak openly while still working within their platforms. Others will double down on the old access model, hoping their existing influence is enough to keep players in line. But the smartest move? Partner with players like Sophie. Create joint ventures. Give them production control. Let them be the face of the content instead of a reporter who barely talks to them off camera. Because the truth is, fans don't just want scores and stats anymore. They want personality. They want drama. They want to feel like they're part of the conversation. And Sophie has proven she can deliver exactly that, without anyone telling her what she can or can't say. The WNBA media landscape from even 6 months ago is already gone. It just hasn't had the funeral yet. Sophie didn't single-handedly kill it, but she showed players that they don't have to play the access game anymore, that the fake scarcity of controlled interviews is a relic of the past. And once athletes realize they can speak directly to millions without permission, there's no going back. Whether you love her or can't stand her, Sophie Cunningham has changed the conversation. And the ripple effect of that change? We're only just starting to see it. So what do you think? Is Sophie Cunningham the future of WNBA media, or just the loudest voice in the room right now? Drop your thoughts and your spiciest Sophie takes in the comments. If you want more unfiltered looks at the stories shaking women's sports, hit like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Because the media power shift, it's already here, and it's only going to get louder.